I'm Aaron from PhoneDog.com, and yeah, you can say Verizon's kind of behind a little bit when it comes to Android phones, but in recent weeks, they've gotten some that have put them up with the competition, AT&T, Sprint, and T-Mobile in the US. Two of those awesome Android phones are in my hands right now. One of those is the HTC DROID Incredible 4G LTE. It's a follow-up from the DROID Incredible. It's packing LTE, a thinner design, and it looks a lot like the Resound, but it's shed a few pounds. Then you have the Samsung Galaxy Nexus on Verizon. 1.2 gigahertz dual-core TI OMAP processor, a flagship device in its time, and it's just gotten a price reduction to $99.99. Which one of these is the ultimate Android powerhouse between the two, at least, on Verizon? We're going to find out, but first, some love to Best Buy Mobile for hooking us up with phones like this for use in our One Paw Bandit giveaway game. When you go into Best Buy Mobile, you're going to walk out working. They'll help you set up your email, your web, your contacts, your settings, and more. So when you walk out the door, you're good to go at Best Buy Mobile. You don't have to take that time to set up your new phone. So which one's the best? Is it the HTC DROID Incredible 4G LTE, or is it the Samsung Galaxy Nexus? We're going to find out in the full dogfight, which starts right now. Another day, another two Android handsets, and a dogfight battle. Here's the HTC DROID Incredible 4G LTE. This is the Samsung Galaxy Nexus on Verizon. Both are available now, obviously. This one's $149.99, at least at corporate Verizon stores. The Galaxy Nexus just got a price drop to $99.99. So in terms of pricing, it's a good deal. This one over here, brand new, or relatively new, been out for a couple of weeks. It's packing a 1.2 gigahertz dual-core Snapdragon S4 processor, a 4-inch QHD display, an 8-megapixel camera with 1080p HD video recording, although sadly, it doesn't come with HTC's ImageSense technology. It does have Android 4.0, though, with HTC Sense version 4. It's packing a 1,700 milliamp hour battery. And so when you look at the look and feel here, and let me open my drawer so you can take a look at the similarities here between the HTC Resound and the DROID Incredible 4G LTE. Just take a look at the design here, and you'll notice it's very similar, but you'll see immediately that the DROID Incredible 4G LTE has shaved off a few pounds. But in terms of ports, very similar placing of everything. You've got your 3.5mm headphone jack up top, your power button up here, you've got your micro USB charging port down at the bottom, you've got back, home, and then recent applications down there at the bottom, and you've got your volume rocker over there as well. Then you've got your speaker obviously in the back, and you've got some red rings around the camera, and then of course this red color accent thing up here at the earpiece, much like the Resound did as well. So design-wise, very similar here, but kind of brings the HTC device, or the flagship at least on Verizon, into 2012 with Android 4.0, Sense 4, and then of course the new design theme with the buttons down here at the bottom with back, home, and then recent applications. Over here you got the Samsung Galaxy Nexus. Been available for a while, came out, had some software issues at launch, people were complaining of some radio issues, things like that. Sense appears to be a little bit better, and the good news is, because it's a Galaxy Nexus, at some point we hope it'll get Jelly Bean, also known as Android 4.1. It's rolling out right now to the GSM unlocked version. Verizon and Sprint users don't have it just yet, but hopefully it'll come soon. Design-wise, you've seen it before. It's got a 1.2 gigahertz dual-core TI OMAP processor, a 4.65-inch Super AMOLED HD display with pen-tile technology, a 5-megapixel camera on the back, with 1080p HD video recording, 1,850 milliamp hour battery, 4G LTE as well over here, and it's packing a stock build of Android 4.0. The actual software that's on this right now is 4.0.4. So not quite up to Jelly Bean just yet, but two awesome options on Verizon. You know, I think if you're looking for Jelly Bean, you're looking for that next version of Android, you're going to obviously get it faster. I should say, maybe not obviously, because it still is a carrier branded device, but theoretically, considering this is a Nexus device and they're supposed to be all about quick upgrades, this one theoretically would be the next one to get Jelly Bean, or Android 4.1. So hopefully we'll see that, and available for $100, so you really can't beat the deal. HTC lovers, if you love the 1X, you love the Evo 4G LTE, you're really going to like this device. So let's talk a little bit about these. Both have 1.2 gigahertz dual-core processors. This one, like I said, Snapdragon S4. This one, TI OMAP processor. And so a little bit of a bigger display, obviously, on the Galaxy Nexus as well. So it's going to depend on what's most important to you, as with any smartphone purchase. 4 inches, 4.65, and when you line them up side by side, you can really see that the difference is noticeable, despite the fact that you have 3 on-screen buttons here, as opposed to capacitive buttons over on the HTC. And you'll also notice you've got a totally stock look and feel here, with the exception of some Verizon applications. That brings me into the app drawers. We'll talk about that. Amazon Kindle pre-installed over here, Amazon MP3, Vcast apps, you got Let's Golf 3 HD, you've got Google Plus, you got My Verizon Mobile, NFL Mobile, Mobile Hotspot, Slingbox, Real Racing 2, and then over here you got VZ Navigator, Verizon Video, Vcast Tones, TuneIn Radio, and more. on this one. Over here, you got My Verizon Mobile. You got a couple of things I've obviously installed. United Airlines does not, in fact, come by default out of the box. You got VZ Backup Assistant, but outside of that, it's a relatively stock build. You do see those 2 Verizon applications, but that's about it. Over here, you'll see down here frequent downloads, and so obviously you're running HTC Sense version 4 atop Android 4.0 over here. Sense 4 is a hugely toned down version of previous builds of HTC Sense. You'll see obviously the menu button, Play Store, and Search up here, and it's really a clean, good-looking build. Give you the look here from notification bar to notification bar, and you can see because it's ice cream sandwich, you can easily swipe stuff out of the way, and you have shortcuts at both to settings. So you can see what the stock settings menu looks like and what a skin setting menu looks like here. You can see obviously wireless and networks up here at the top. You've got personal, phone, and then that's it. You've got this nice little accordion effect down here at the bottom. Device, personal, and then system over here. Now, HTC does a great job, and I talk about this in a lot of the dogfights and a lot of the videos, but it's really a selling point of HTC devices. They do a fantastic job with personalization. And you'll see over here 5 home screens out of the gate here on the Galaxy Nexus. You get 7 over on the DROID Incredible 4G LTE, and the benefit is you have the ability to pinch and quickly access all of those screens. So you can see they kind of come in a carousel format. One of the many things HTC took out when they moved over to Sense 4, that obnoxious carousel thing, so you know we can keep spinning all day long, and you don't have to worry about it spinning around and doing that crazy thing. If you remember the sensation of the Amaze 4G, how if you spun it too fast, too quickly, or spun it too fast, too hard, I should say, you know, you would have that issue where the carousel would go around. Not the case anymore. Now down here at the bottom, you're going to see the dock format's kind of similar, but you've got some shortcuts here. Very easy to add new shortcuts. If you want people, you can add it down here. And then if you want to combine stuff, as you just saw, I can combine like mail and maps into a folder, and I can rename that folder if I so desire. And then I'm good to go. Over here, same thing. Messaging, can move it out of the way. Speed test, can put it down in the actual applications drawer itself and can move stuff around. Now, that translates into shortcuts on the lock screen on the DROID Incredible 4G LTE. You'll notice the people icon has replaced the messaging icon or whatever it was I pulled out. Gmail, or was it messaging? I can't remember. I'm sorry, internet. So you'll see that those shortcuts are down there, and here's what the individual lock screens look like just to give you a comparison. To access the phone, swipe over to unlock. To access the camera, you swipe over and access the camera. Again, 5 megapixel camera over here. And the one thing I love about Android 4.0 and up is that you can access the notification bar. It's so frustrating going back to a gingerbread device to review or do some whatever work with, and you can't. I always have a habit of doing this now that I've worked with Android 4.0 enabled devices. But cool thing about HTC, they're really big on personalization. You can change a lot of things. Let me get this unlocked so we can get the display back up and running. You can change a lot of things on this device, including the lock screen, of course the wallpaper, of course the theme as well, and more. So I can come in here and see skins. I have it set to the aluminum skin right now, as you can see, but I can move it to the HTC skin, the serene skin, the matte skin, or I can go, it looks like I just have those 4. Unfortunately, Verizon has blocked access to HTC Hub, so you don't get the access to download additional skins or wallpapers or anything like that. But you can, of course, download third-party wallpaper applications from Google Play. So we'll go into HTC Wallpapers, for example, and see this one, for example, and we'll go into Apply, and I can change the wallpaper quickly and easily along with the themes. And then, of course, the lock screen. I have a couple of different lock screen options, as you can see here. We'll go in and we'll do lock screen. Not shortcuts. We want the shortcuts on, lock screen style, weather, friend stream, photo album, productivity, wallpaper. So I can change this around and have stocks when I load it up, for example, instead of weather, which is what you saw, obviously, and what I have it set to right now. So it brings up the Charlotte weather as soon as I load it up. It's supposed to be 100 degrees today. That's crazy. That's cray-cray, as they say somewhere. I don't really know where they say that. Maybe they say it in the bars. That's cray-cray, you know. I feel like no one would like you if you said cray-cray on a regular basis, but that's okay. You don't need friends. Who needs friends? That's what cats and dogs are for. Anyway, over here, you can see kind of a similar setup, pretty bare bones over here, and you do get some widgets. What I like about this one, though, you can press and hold and easily access the widgets. You got a ton of widgets here, 23 pages to be exact, and you can categorize those by particular things. So let's say you're looking for Gmail, or let's say, let's find something else. Let's find messages. So you can see messages for HTC, and I can bring in specific messages, or message widgets rather, and put those on the home screen. You can see all 7 at a glance here to see which ones have space available. And like I've said in the past videos, HTC widgets are now mostly customizable, so you can change the size around and really kind of format these to fit your personal style when it comes to your smartphone, so you can change them around. Over here, widgets available in the applications drawer, and they're pretty ho-hum widgets. They're pretty stock widgets, let's just say, but they are customizable. So I can bring out a calendar widget, for example. We'll bring it over here to an empty screen, put the calendar widget there, and I can press and hold it, move it around, and I can customize the size of it relatively easily, and when I'm done, I just push away, and then pressing and holding here just gets me the wallpaper. So a little bit less personalization. The benefit here, obviously, this is a developer's playground. If you like to hack, root, mod your device, all that stuff, the Galaxy Nexus is probably going to be the device for you. If you like the personalization, you know, you're somebody that just wants the stock personalization that comes out of the box, well, HTC does a killer job with their widgets, with their, just in general, with personalization, widgets, wallpapers, lock screens, and more. They do a fantastic job, and you'll be happy there. So let's take a look at messaging on both of these devices. And I want to make sure that these messaging threads were pulled up properly. You can see these are all test contacts that I just have in here. So we're going to say the Quick Brown Fox. We're going to talk to Tim Richardson. Again, both of which are fake contacts. Over here, you'll notice HTC Sense keyboard pre-installed, and there are some changes to the look and feel. You've got some arrow buttons down there at the sides that kind of taken the sprint approach with the HTC. If you remember the Evo 4G, they've added those buttons down there at the bottom. Otherwise, 4-inch display makes it kind of hard to type on if you're moving up. You know, I've been using the Galaxy S3 for 6 weeks, so moving down to this from a 4.8-inch screen has been pretty hard. But that said, I think you'll be fine, especially if you use it in landscape mode. The Quick Brown Fox is happy. Is he happy? Is happy that it's Friday. It's Friday. Got to get down on Friday. And then, of course, and 17 people just disliked this video because I quoted Rebecca Black. That's all right, friends. It's all right. 17 people liked it, and the time the other 17 didn't like it. Ooh, snap, burn, and all that stuff. Anyway, 4-inch display over here. Over here, you've got a stock ice cream sandwich keyboard, and when it gets upgraded to Jelly Bean, you'll have a very similar looking keyboard. It'll just be called the stock Jelly Bean keyboard. And you'll notice also out of the gate, I meant to bring this up over here. Go down here, and we'll go to keyboard. And it looks like, actually I take that back, I don't believe Swipe comes pre-installed on this one, but let's double check before I get too far ahead of myself. Language and keyboard. Yep, just HTC Sense over here, and then I can say, hey there. So obviously because of the larger display, I feel like it's easier to type on the Galaxy Nexus, and I'm an absolute huge fan of the stock ice cream sandwich keyboard, and even more of a fan of the stock Jelly Bean keyboard. They do a fantastic job, and it works really well on this 4.5-inch display.